Kakadosh Boker Or Masechet Sotah Daf Kaf Aleph Amud Aleph 21a1 says the Gemara. Yesterday, if you remember, we were speaking about how long does a woman have in order for a zechut to be tola, that she won't explode immediately by doing the averah, if she did commit the sin, but rather how long does she have? So we spoke about whether it's 3 months to find out about whether the hakarat ubar, the child, you could already notice when a woman's pregnant, usually at 3 months, whether it was 9 months, because that's the actual term of pregnancy, 9 months, or 12 months, and that they brought a proof from the Muchanetzad, and that's where we finished yesterday. Says the Gemara, Leolam, really be'emet, our Mishnah could be going like Rabbi Yishmael, the Ashkach Kra de Amar Vetani, and Rabbi Yishmael found a pasuk that was actually coming and saying, right, it was a pasuk mefurash, HaKadosh Baruch Hu was coming and saying, he said that he was pushing off 3 times, Dichtiv, Ko Amar Hashem, al shlosha pishe'e Edom, ve'al arba'a lo ashivenu, which means that on 3 different pshaim, he's going to have erech hapayim. Erech hapayim means that he won't, the second that you do something, boom. He'll have erech hapayim, he'll have, how do you call it? Long endurance, not endurance, it's like he'll have mercy on them, that he won't exact retribution immediately. Okay? But on the 4th time, he's not going to forgive them. So you see from here, from the fact that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to be ma'arich until 3 times, so since the shiur is going to be 12 chodesh, right? So it comes out that maybe it's going to be bemet, it's going to be 36 months, which is 3 years. Because if you're going to tell me that 1 time is 1 year, and you just tell me that he will have erech hapayim for 3 times, but not on the 4th, so 3 times 12 is 36 months. So therefore it's 3 years. Okay? So it says the Gemara, fine. So what does it mean when you said that even though we don't have a proof to it, but we have like a zecher, right? By Nebuchadnezzar, we said we don't have a real proof from Nebuchadnezzar that's 12 months, but it's like a zecher. So says the Gemara, Dilma Shane of de Kochavid lo mitpkidina alayhu. He says, do you know, maybe it's different because he was a non-Jew. And a non-Jew, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not going to come and be that makpid, strict. Here, we're talking about a Jew. So to do with the Jew, HaKadosh Baruch Hu comes and he right away tries to exact retribution. Why? In order to what? Why does he exact retribution? In order that they should get Olam Haba, Chazak Baruch, in order for them to get Olam Haba. But to do with the non-Jew, so he's not going to be so fine. So he'll wait. He'll have erech hapayim. So that's why even though there's no raya, but you can't bring a raya from the Nebuchadnezzar, but there's still a zecher. Fine, next, 2 dots. It says, yes, zechut, there is going to be a zechut, right, which is going to be tola, shalosh shanim. What does that mean exactly? It says, zechut demai. Which zechut do you have that you're going to be tola until 3 years? Ilema zechut of the Torah. If you're going to tell me it's the zechut of the Torah, ha'era mitzvah ve'osai. She's not commanded in learning the Torah, right? Ela lizchut the mitzvah. So you're right, it can't be the Torah. If she's not commanded in the Torah, that cannot save her for 3 years, but rather it's a zechut mitzvah. So says Gemara, zechut mitzvah mimagni kulei. What, the zechut mitzvah is so strong that it's going to protect her? Fatanya, we learned in a braita, et zot darash Rabbi Menachem bar Yosef. This is what Rabbi Menachem bar Yosef came and he expounded. Kinem mitzvah v'torah, or what does it mean that when we're going to have the candle of a mitzvah and that the Torah is like a light? HaKadosh Baruch Hu mitzvah b'nei v'torah be'or. HaKadosh Baruch Hu made the mitzvah and a candle and the Torah and a light. The candle is only for a few minutes. The candle is only for a few moments. Because remember, a candle turns off. So to a mitzvah is the same thing. But the Torah, it's a or, it's a light, it illuminates. Why? To teach you. Ma'or megin la'olam. Or is always fixed. It will always protect. So to Torah megina la'olam, so to always protect. And this is just showing you the difference between Torah and mitzvot. Torah, there's nothing that could come into comparison of the Torah. And that's why we focus so much, obviously, on the Torah, obviously. Yeah? So he says, and it says also by the Talmud Torah, Italecha tarche otach. Italecha tarche otach. V'shokbecha tishmor lecha. V'akitzota hi tesichecha. Where's this pasuk? When you do a siyum masechet, this is one of the sukim towards the end of a siyum masechet. Right? Mamash towards the end. In the Yiratzon, right? Shekashem shazatani lesayim Masechet zo, kach tezakeni lesayim sfarim acherim, right? This is brought down this pasuk. right? So he says, "Vakitzota." So he says, "V'shoch becha bita lecha tancheotach is olam hazeh. Shoch becha tishmor alecha is the mitah. Vakitzota yitesichecha is olam haba." So you see from here that the Torah will protect not only in this world, not only during the time of death, but even the olam haba lati lavos will always protect. Meaning the Torah is something which is eternal, and therefore it will always come and protect a human being. Next, mashal le'adam she'yamalech v'yishon laila v'afilah. Imagine a person that's going in the darkness. It's pitch black. And he's afraid, whether it's the thorns of pits and of different, also it's like a tzemach of thorns also as well. He's afraid of wild animals, from bandits, from thieves. He doesn't know where to go. If right now he's going to have an avuka shel or, right? He's going to be saved also from the thorns and from the pits and all that. Why? Now he can see. He's not going to stumble into things. He's not going to go into a thorn tree. He sees. He's got or. But he's still afraid from chayar ha'amin al-istin, right? But he's still going to be afraid from the wild animals and from bandits. So he doesn't know where to go. But once it becomes daytime, now he's going to be saved from wild animals and from the listim, from the bandits. But he still doesn't know where to go until he's going to get to a parashat drachim, right? Until he gets to a crossroad, and that's where he could decide where to travel. Then nitzal mikulam, and then he's going to be nitzal from everything. So therefore, the nimshal is, if a person is going to be mekayem a mitzvah, which is like an avuka shel ur, he's going to be saved from the immediate, imminent threats, which is going to be whether it's going to be the thorns and the pits and that. If he's going to be zocher to the Torah, which is Amud Shachar, so he's going to be saved from the chet minisurim, right? But he still doesn't know where to go. So therefore, he comes and he says, right? The last one is going to be, he comes over here. So therefore, because it could be that again, it could be that he already, his Yitzhak already went against him. So once he gets to the Yom HaMitah and he still didn't separate from the Torah, that's the Parashat Drachim. As it say, the crossroad in life is the day of death, because that means he's not going to separate from the Torah again. Then he's saved from everything. And suddenly Kulam, he's completely saved from him, because now he knows he's dying and he's still keeping Torah mitzvot. So therefore, he's going to be okay for the rest of the time. Davar acher, another explanation. He comes and he says, what does this davar acher mean? He comes and he says, Avera mechaba mitzvah. Do you know that an avera, it turns off, it extinguishes a mitzvah? Ve'en avera mechaba Torah, but an avera cannot extinguish Torah. Meaning, an avera and mitzvot and averot are the same category. What does it mean, same category? They're on the same level. You do a mitzvah, you do an avera. So therefore, an avera could extinguish a mitzvah. But Torah is much more powerful. It's not on the same level. So an avera cannot extinguish the Torah. Shneimar, ma'im rabbim, lo yuchlu lechabot ta'ava. Right? What does that mean? It means over here that the averot rabot, which is the ma'im rabbim over here, they cannot come and extinguish the Torah. Okay? Amar Rav Yosef. So says Rav Yosef, right? Why? Because at the end of the day, we're trying to say here that a zechut of mitzvah is not that great. So how could you tell me here that the woman has a zechut that is going to be told for 3 years? Listen, zechut of the Torah, she's not commanded in Torah. And zechut of mitzvot, mitzvah is very small. It's not going to be for such a long time. So Amar Rav Yosef says of Yosef, mitzvah, be'ina de'asik ba'migne u'matzla. A mitzvah, during the time that you're being second a mitzvah, it protects you, right? It's going to be megina from Yisurim. It's going to help save you from the Yitzhak. But if it's not the time that you're actually dealing with the mitzvah, it's only going to protect you from Yisurim. It's not going to save you from sinning, because you're not doing your mitzvah now. But Torah, it doesn't matter whether you're actually learning it or not learning it. Torah protects from Yisurim and it protects from the sin. That is called Migne, Magne, and Matzla. It's going to be doing both. So Matkifla Rabba comes and he asks the following question. And we're going to ask for a question. Doeg v'achitofel. One second, you had Doeg Adumi. In Achitofel. Remember, Doeg Adumi was the one that caused the downfall of Shaul because of the Kohanim, Novira Kohanim. He went to Shaul and he said, look what they did over there. That the Ira Kohanim, Novira Kohanim, and the Kohen Gadol, they helped David. And David's your enemy. They're Mored Malchut. Huh? And he killed them all. And he killed them all. But that was Doeg Adumi. And Doeg Adumi was the Rosh Sanhedrin. And he was a huge Tamil Chacham. Why? He didn't learn Torah. He was huge. Huh? Doeg Adumi? Yes, Doeg Adumi. That was his name. Doeg Adumi. And there was also Achitofel. Achitofel was the rabbi of David HaMelech. And then afterwards, the downfall of Achitofel was that he strangled himself. One of the reasons why is because he actually went with the rebellion of Avshalom against David. And then at the end, obviously, when Avshalom went down, so therefore, it was a whole story over there. And anyway, so the question is, one second, these people, they were learning Torah. So if they weren't learning Torah, how did it be that they had such a downfall? Why didn't the Torah protect them? But rather, Rabbi says, you're right. Torah beina de asikba. When you're learning Torah, it's going to protect you from Yisurim and save you from sin. If you're not going to come and you're not going to be learning Torah at that moment, it's going to protect you from Yisurim, but it's not going to save you from doing sin. But a mitzvah, it doesn't matter whether you're dealing with it or not, it only protects from Yisurim. It never actually saves you from sin. So according to this now, the way that we just retracted, mitzvah just protects you from Yisurim, but it does not stop you from doing an Avirah. You understand? It doesn't stop you from doing an Avirah. Torah is what stops you from doing an Avirah, but only when you're coming and you're learning Torah. If you're not learning Torah, it protects you from Yisurim, but it does not stop you from doing an Avirah. So, one more time. By Torah, if you're learning Torah, it does everything. Protects you, and it's going to stop you, meaning it protects you from Yisurim, and it's going to stop you from doing sin. If you're not learning Torah, it protects you from Yisurim, but it does not stop you from doing sin. And a mitzvah, the maximum that it does, right, is only going to be that it's going to protect you. That's the maximum. Okay, but it's not going to sin you, protect you from doing sin. Ravina comes and he retracts it. He said, no, leolam zechut Torah. Really, be'emet? The woman has 3 years because of the zechut of the Torah. But one second, but you told me that she's not in a mitzvah v'osa. So she's not going to be mitzvah v'osa. So therefore, what's the deal? So he says, even though she's not mitzvah v'osa, the fact that the reward that they're waiting for their husbands and they're taking their children to come and to learn, they're waiting for their husbands to come home late at night. Meaning their husbands go to the Bet Midrash and they go to Simichat Chaver and they go to Kinyam Masechta and they stay late at night. That's their reward. Meaning you have to come and sell to your wife, if I'm coming home once a week late at night, that's your olam haba. Your olam haba, your zechut in the Torah is that I'm coming home late at night and you're waiting for me. Because if I'm going to come home at 7 o'clock, everybody's saying, well, you're not waiting for me. Right? Anyway, she was up. Anyway, she was there. No, here she's actually waiting for their husbands, right, to come back from the Bet Midrash and they give them permission to go. So Milo Palgira Badayo, but they don't get the same reward as we do. They split the reward with us. What are you talking about? So obviously they have Zechut of Torah. And because of that Zechut of the Torah, they're going to be protected, right, for the what? For the 3 years. So therefore, it comes out that according to Ravina, they do have a reward, and the reward that women have is that they're sending their children to the Bet Sefer, to the school in order to learn Torah, and they are sending their husbands to learn Torah, and they're waiting for their husbands to come back late at night. You understand? Yeah, that's their reward. My Parashat Derachim. What does it mean now? Parashat Derachim. That is written in the Braita that we said before. Because remember, we said that once a person gets to Parashat Derachim, he knows he's safe. The Parashat Derachim was the crosswalk. So we said before that really that meant the death. But what does it mean exactly? So Amar of Yul Chasta says, Chasta zeh tamid chacham yom mitah. Somebody that's a tamid chacham and he's going to pass away. Because the fact that he's a tamid chacham and he's passing away, he knows that he never left the Torah. So for he knows that he's going to be fine. Yeah? Nachman ben Yitzchak is a tamid chacham yirat chet. It's a tamid chacham that he was zocheh to yirat chet also, that he's afraid of sin. Marzut Ramar is a tamid chacham it's a tamid chacham that everything that he says is halacha l'maaseh. And it's not just stam that he's saying halacha. What he says, it goes. That's halacha. Another explanation, right? When we were speaking about the ner mitzvah v'torah, avera is mechaba mitzvah, ve'ena avera mechaba Torah. So what does that mean exactly? If you remember, we said before that an avera could extinguish a mitzvah, but it cannot extinguish a Torah. Amar of Yosef says of Yosef, Darsha Rabbi Menachem bar Yosef le'ikra. So Menachem bar Yosef came and he expounded upon the pasuk when it says, Chi Sinai, just like in Sinai. What does it mean? Elmaleh drashu adoeg v'achitofel achi lo rozfu b'achtar David. If it wasn't that they actually came and they did this, they wouldn't have run after David HaMelech. Le'emor Elokim hazavo. Say that God has actually came, and which means the Oeved David, they used to say that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he abandoned him because he went on a Neshatish. And therefore, they're not going to be punished. So for they went and they tried getting him, they tried killing him, they tried doing everything against David HaMelech. My Darush, what was the drasha? We know that a person should not see irva. If you're going to see irva, he runs away. I remember somebody once said, you know what? why don't, when you're making a synagogue, make it at least with a nice mechitza. See the women at least. Yeah, and there's certain synagogues that you walk in, mamash see-through, right? You see everything. Mamash, clear as day. There's just the little thing on the bottom a little bit, and then everything glass, and you see them. So what's the problem? So, yeah. Listen carefully. Why is it so important to know about the women's section? Because we know there's a pasuk in Furash in the Torah. The Torah says, which means you should not look at immorality, which means Kadosh Baruch Hu will run away. Meaning, and this is the famous Chavetz Chaim that he once told somebody, out of all the mitzvot in the Torah, the only place where it says that he's going to run away is to do with you shouldn't see irva. In the middle of tefillah, how could you come and start looking at whether it's the word? Remember, we brought down the Khatam Sofer. The Khatam Sofer says, maybe Shalom also brings it down, and there's a lot of others as well that they say that you cannot even pray in a synagogue that doesn't have a kosher mechitza, even when there's no women there. Wow. Meaning, forget if the women are there. Even if there's no women there, the fact that they don't have a kosher mechitza, you're not allowed to pray there because the Shekhinah is not there. And if the Shekhinah is not there, there's nothing actually. Therefore, since Doeg Adomi and Achitofel said that David HaMelech did immorality because he went with Bathsheba and she was a married woman, so therefore, that's it. So therefore, they could destroy David HaMelech. Nothing's going to happen to them. But they didn't know that Avirah is mechabah mitzvah, but Avirah is not mechabah Talmud Torah. David HaMelech had the koach of the Torah with him. So for since David HaMelech had the koach of the Torah, even though if he did an Avirah according to his level, but that wasn't going to extinguish him. So therefore, they actually got punished for what they did. And that's why those are the people that they actually mamash, no olam haba, this, you know, like powerful statements which are said about them. Right? My boz yavuzulo. What does it mean in the pasuk? Imiteni shekolon beto ba'ava, boz yavuzulo. What does that mean exactly? Amarula Uzla says, lo, ke Shimon achi Azariah, not like Shimon achi Azariah, right? Velo ke Rabbi Yochanan ben Esiyah, ela ki Hillel v'Shevna. Yeah? Shimon achi Azariah, right? He's the Tana. Okay, he's called the name of his brother. Because his brother used to do business, and he used to actually come and he used to support him. It was like he's Sachar Zvulun. And not like Rabbi Yochanan ben Esiyah, but rather like Hillel v'Shevna. The Chiyat Rav Dimi was when Rav Dimi came, Amar, he said, Hillel v'Shevna achi abu. Do you know Hillel and Shevna were brothers? Hillel asek b'Torah and Shevna v'Iska. So he was doing business. The Sof at the end, Amarle, he went and he said, Tana Liflog, come, let's do shutafut. Meaning, afterwards, it doesn't help. Because what happened? This guy was doing business. He made a lot of money. And afterwards, he comes and he says, okay, fine, let's divide the reward. He says, no, it's already too late because it's already afterwards, post factum. If you do Yisachar Zvulun before, you can do before. Post factum, it doesn't help. Okay? Samech Aleph Amud Bet. Kaf Aleph Amud Bet, sorry. Right? 21b. Omer Ben Azai says Ben Azai, right? Chayav Adam lelamed. So by the two dots, right? But we just finished. So Ben Azai comes and he says, Chayav Adam lelamed bitot Torah. A person is obligated to teach his daughter Torah. Eliezer says, if you teach your daughter Torah, you're teaching her, right, bad things, right? So what does that mean? Tiflutz like this. Wow, you really think that you're teaching your daughter something bad? But rather, it's like you're teaching her something bad. Amar Rabbi Avu says, what's reasoning Rabbi Eliezer? Tichtiv, it says a pasuk, Ani chokhmah shechanti urma, kevan shenichnesah chokhmah be'adam nichnesah imo armumit. Do you know, Torah in itself also is actually something dangerous. Why is it something dangerous? Because Torah is wisdom. And sometimes when a person has the wisdom that comes into him, he can become cunning. Cunning means like he can learn trickery. He can learn. You understand? Why do you think the lawyers, they love learning Gemara and all those things? Because they learn law. They come and they see how Torah and Gemara, they come and they analyze. Yeah, but what happens if this? And being the devil's advocate, and what happens if that? And what about this and that and that? And they're always taking every side of the coin that they have it covered for. And all of a sudden they come and say, no, but psychology and reverse psychology and you can learn everything from the Torah. So therefore, if a person is not careful, the Torah in itself could be actually used as a weapon, right, to weaponize it the other way around. This is actually very compared to what I mentioned 2 or 3 days ago in the Pirkei Avot, remember in the Halacha, that we said, is a rabbi allowed to come and start giving his opinion on money matters? And we said over there was a suit. Why was it a suit? Because if you told the guy already that he's going to lose in a bedin, he's going to make up every excuse not to go to a bedin. No, this bedin is not good. He didn't want to go to bedin. We had to go to secular court. because he already knows he's going to lose. If you're going to come and you're going to tell him, if this was the case, this is the halacha, he's going to make sure that that was the case. Because he knows that he already knows what changes the halacha. So if a person has to be very careful in money matters, because if it's going to be sur ve'eter, right, a person knows it's either a sur or it's mutar. If you come to a rabbi and you say, Rabbi, is this chicken kosher or not? And he says it's not kosher, and he just lost $500 and he throws it out, or not a lot of chicken, obviously, but let's say an animal, $500, fine. He's not going to go against a rabbi. But if he goes for the same $500, he goes to court, to a bedin, and now the rabbi says that he's wrong, he's willing to beat up the rabbi. Now, why? Because of his ego. He knows that when it has to do with Isur ve'eter, and he calls up the rabbi and he says, is this kosher or not kosher? There's no ego involved. Listen, Rabbi, is it kosher? Not kosher. There's nobody involved. So therefore, even if the rabbi just incurred a loss on him, because he says it's not kosher, what's he going to do? Beat up the rabbi? What's he going to do? The rabbi is just inventing it. The rabbi, so he feels, okay, he accepts it. The second it becomes one man against another, now my ego is involved. In my ego, you're going to tell me, Rabbi, that I'm wrong and he's right? No. You can't say. If you tell me that it's not, but it's the same amount of money. No, that I'm wrong and he's right. Do you know that there was a rabbi that he had a bedin. He stopped his bedin because there was a guy, an Israeli guy, that came back after he lost a money case. Right? He came back with a bat from his car and he smashed all the windows and the computers and everything in the rabbi's office. And there was a mess that the rabbi, he stopped his bedin. So basically, it says, so therefore, the Torah actually brings in sometimes some type of a trickery or something. So the person has to be careful. But according to the rabbis, what do they do this? A person will only become, right? He will only become great in Torah only when he separates from all the Iskei Olam until he becomes like mamash. He needs the Torah. Right? That's what it means. So here means arum is that he's not covered, not arum from rumimut, which is like a trickery, right? Or things like that. Okay, so that's what it means over here. Amr of Yochanan says of Yochanan. So this is where it comes and it says about the humbleness. That a divrei Torah will only be in a person that he makes himself like he's nothing. Shneimar, ayin means, where are you going to find the chokhmah? It's like from nothing. So that's what it means, and that's why we actually do hashkava for a rabbi. Hashkava for a regular person is tov shem nishem tov. Hashkava for a chashuv person is marav tuvicha shetzvanta lirecha palta yichazimach. Hashkava for a rabbi is v'chokhmah ma'ayin timatzeh v'zeh mekomina. Mekach haslecha l'yom, right? And then we continue. Next, Rabbi Yeshua says, "Rotza isha bekav tiflu v'tisha kabim v'prishut." Do you know that a woman prefers one kav and tiflut more than 9 kabin and prishut? My what does it mean? So he says, you know what it means? Hachi kav. This is what it means. Say, "Rotza isha bekav tiflut imo yotem v'tisha kabin v'prishut," which means a woman prefers that her husband should come and give her a small parnasa, but that he's with her, than to give her a huge amount of parnasa, but he's never there. Right? You understood? And therefore, it's not good that she should learn Torah. Okay? So he says over here, the kavanah is that the Torah is not going to be chaviva onto her, because she's also learning, right, lemaet betiflut. So therefore, which is the negative, the tibav. Because if she's going to come, meaning like this, she prefers that if he's going to come and he's going to start learning Torah, so then what happens is that she's going to come and she's going to prefer getting a little bit of even though she doesn't get a lot of money, but she prefers that, right, in order that she should get at least, how do you call it? At least that she should be with her husband. But if it's going to be too much, she doesn't want a billionaire and that he's never home.
But that's she wants learning Torah, not her.
Which one? So it says, he used to say, Hasid Sotah Daf is Mivale Olam. What is a Hasid Sotah? He says, you know what? There's a woman that's drowning in the river. So he says, it's sniut. I'm going to go in and I'm going to save her. He lets her drown. That's called a Hasid Sotah. Right? That's called a Hasid that he's, in a sense. What is a Rasha'arum? He says, right? Amrav Yochanan, Ze amatin devarav ledayan kodem sheyavo baldin chavero. What does that mean? He basically comes and he already puts his zechuyot in the lev of the dayan, and therefore it's difficult for the dayan to come and to look into it. So therefore he's called arum. He's also called a rasha, right? Because he's over on lotisa shemashav. So it's ki'ilu lotasi shemashav. So basically what he's trying to do is that he's basically putting and instilling his words into the dayan, that the dayan automatically, right, will come and paskin like him, even though he's being mevetadin, he's making crooked the judgment, right? Another explanation, Rabbi Avu says, zanotin dinar la'ani lashlim lo 200 zuz. This is a person that's giving a dinar to a nani to finish off a 200 zuz. תצרי מי שיש לו 200 זוז, לא ייטול לקט שכחה ופאה מעשר עני. היה לו 200 חסד דינר, אפילו 1,000 נותנים לו כאחת, הרי זה ייטול. So he's going to come and he's going to take, which means like this. Imagine right now, right, you just made under the poverty line, right? And what do? I come and I give you the extra $1. And now you have to come and you have to report it. So by you coming in Ki'ilu, you're reporting that extra $1. You just lost everything. Mm-hmm. So by me coming and being Ki'ilu, right, a good guy, I put myself back. Wow, I did chesed. I was a very good guy. You understand? You just went and you killed the guy. You remember there was a famous story that I brought down about a guy that he was very, very stingy. So then he had somebody finally come to the house, and then he went to the market. He got a not good piece of fish that was already like a few days old. And then he came, and then he gave it to the guy, and he starts telling his wife, look at the chesed that we did, that we were machnis orchim into our house. The guy became sick, so he went to the hospital. He said, look, we just did now will be kul cholim. And then the guy died, so he comes and he says, look, from one mitzvah that we did, that we gave food to the ani, we already had hachnasat orchim, we have bikul cholim, we had levaya alvayat hamet, nichum avelim. Look how many mitzvot, we're rich of mitzvot. Hamor, what is this guy doing? He said, well, you killed the guy, and now you're coming and you're saying, look how many mitzvot that you did. You did hachnasat orchim, bikul cholim, alvayat hamet, right? Nichum avelim. You were the one that killed him. That's what people do. They pat themselves on the back and they say, yeah, I'm a good guy. I'm a tzaddik. That's what this guy just did. Because this guy was allowed to collect, whether it's leket shichalpea, maaser, all these things. But you giving him that extra $1 and you're a mashlim until the 200 zuz, kaddish, that's it. Now he can't get anything. So therefore, you think that you're doing him a favor, right? That's a sha'arum. It's a rasha. And another explanation, Rabbi Yasi Omer, in the name of Yochanan, Masechet Sotah limkor benechasim muatim. That's somebody that gives an etzah to the Tomim to sell, right? He comes and he says that to sell benechasim muatim, right, with small properties, right? That means basically that there was the small properties that were given, and basically midin Torah, right? He comes and he says midin Torah. A person comes and he passes away and he leaves, whether it's going to be boys or girls, whatever it is. The banim yoshim et kol nechasav, right? The girls don't take anything. But the Chachamim said there's a Tanai Ketubah that know that he has to actually give to the girls. So he comes and he says, so if they're going to come, they're going to start selling from the Chasim, right, Muatin, so therefore they're going to lose out. So basically that's meaning you're giving a bad advice that people are going to lose out. So they sold the Chasim Muatin, whatever they sold. And then the girls lose out. So because of that, that's a Rasha room. That he comes and he starts giving them advice, which is going to be against, right, the girls. Okay? Next, Rabbi says in the fourth explanation, somebody that comes and he says that you should sell properties. Like Rashbad. The Tanya was said, whenever the person says, my properties are going to go to you and afterwards to somebody else. So the first person came and he sold it. And then he ate all the property. The second one can actually take it out. These are the words of Rabbi. But Rashbad says, no. He says, no. Because now, that means this guy was smart. Basically, imagine right now there's a trust. The trust says it's going to go to John Doe. And after John Doe, Jundu. Yeah, whatever, Jendu. Right? What happens? So now the first person, he already knows that when he finishes with it, it's going to the second person. So if he's smart, what does he do? He sells it. According to Rabbi, you could sell it, but then the other guy, the second person, the Jandu, will be able to take it out. But according to Rashbad, you sold it. So if somebody comes and he tells the first person, listen, sell it, so you get everything, and then it will never go to the second person, it's called a Rasharu, because he's basically giving a bad advice for somebody else. Okay? Fifth explanation. He says in the name of Sheshat, he says that somebody that comes and tells other people to do like his things in order to show that he's a Chassid ben Abriot. So he's coming and showing people, you should do like me, copying me there. The guy's a big Rasha. But really, Be'emet, he's showing that he's the biggest tzaddik in the world. So that's called the Rasha Arum. Okay? Right, next one. Right, Bizreka Amar Rav Huna, he says, you know what this person is? He's lenient to himself, but to other people, he's stringent. Meaning to himself, he'll come and he'll always give the lenient opinion. But to other people, always the stringent. Right? You have that. Sometimes you'll be shocked. Right? You come and you're like, oh, well, no. This person told, what are you doing? Right? Why? Because you cannot be mekil to yourself and, right, machmin to other people. The last explanation, Ula says, somebody that learns Torah, meaning shimush, right? On the Kav Bet Amud Aleph on the top, it's 2 dots, we just finished. What does that mean? Shimush means many times you could learn Torah, but if you don't actually ask and you don't learn from a rabbi, you know nothing. And the reason why you don't know nothing is because what happens is that ki'ilu, you're gone. You don't know the depth of what's going on. So it could be, this is what I learned. No, but you can't take it face value. And many times there's exceptions to the rules. Many times there's this or that. So if you don't do shimush, you don't know what you're doing. That's what's very, very important. Okay? Have a wonderful day, Bezat Hashem.